Okay, so today we're just going to do an example critique. Looking at the advertisements and the requirements on the rubric, I would like you to look at the rubric and reflect on some of the criteria that I'm covering in this critique. The important thing is to not take this critically, but to think about how can you take what I'm saying about these example works and apply them in your assignment, because of course everything's a continuing goal of learning. So in this one, it has great use of color. So the background is a very calm background. It's an original image, so that's great. They've taken a really nice picture of the product, and then that product is the brown, and it really stands out to the background. And then they have this highlight of green, which is in the product, as well as the logo to the right. So that's great. And then we can also see the 100% pure maple syrup because they've put a background so that it pops off. And we call that a text glow. The only thing is it's the wrong parameters. It's supposed to be taller than it is wide, and unfortunately they've changed the perspective on it so that it's actually horizontal picture. So just not following quite all of the parameters of the assignment, and in that case it's not following what the client has asked. This one is for apples. I think that there's a lot of really great qualities to it. The idea is good. They've started with the picture. I think that like putting that green so that it reinforces that organic feel on top of those apples is great. I think they could have done some photoshopping and some filters and some warping to make it feel like it actually is like almost like a tattoo on there. The scale of the apples is perfect, but they need to follow up with the logo off in the corner and then having the text much larger for the slogan and then the supporting material smaller. As well, there needs to be more contrast. So there's a lot of fussing that needs to still happen in Photoshop. And if they went ahead and did that, then I will remark it and it'll be great. But it does need the finishing touches to make this the perfect ad. So this ad has a few problems, but I'm going to start with the positive. I'm glad that they used green in it because the product is about going green, and so they've reinforced that with the green text. It's not a text that I think is sophisticated enough. It's overused, and there's some scaling issues, but at least the green is there. The problems I see with this is that the scale, most of the visual imagery is actually all the same size. So it looks cluttered to start and disorganized for that reason. And then the other thing is that the exposure of the images are quite out of focus and quite underexposed, and that eliminates the readability of the overall image. And in this case, this one would actually get the lowest mark of the grouping I'm showing today. So I'd like you to guess what would the mark be on a level 1, 2, 3, and 4. So in this advertisement, I think one of the things that's really great about it is that it's got a good sense of scale. So we see that the center is the most important part. We see that the top one is our product, and it is seen as number 1. That there is the slogan that goes above it. I think the text could be a little bit larger, but that's neither here nor there. And I do really like that they use the green, and you can see that in the green gradient, which is a great use of negative space, and then also the logo. Now the one issue is there is the supporting text which talks about the sugar, and it actually overlaps the main image, and that really needs to be moved down a little bit, so not to interfere with the overall image, because that is of course the most important visual element in the advertisement. But if they did that and have maybe adjusted a few more of like the larger font at the top, it'd be much better. Okay, and for this one, what I like about this one is that it has a great sense of scale. And you see that with the font, and they play with the font and the size, making it that much larger, and that's great. The image is central, but it clearly indicates the idea that the sense of flower is going to come out of it. And then they have the